I'll be the first to admit I have an amazing job now, but reviewing this gun is one of the funnest things I've done in a long time. Today we'll be taking a look at the Sig P322. So come on, let's check it out. Hey guys, I'm Sean with PewPewTactical.com, your definitive source for gun reviews, gear guides, and all things that go plink. Today I'm going to share with you my experiences with the P322, talk about how it performed on the range, give you the pros and cons, and our final verdict. And while I've got your attention, it helps us tremendously if you hit the like button. We are demonetized, so every single like you hit helps us with the almighty YouTube algorithm. Recently, there have been a few entries into what I describe as a new category of handgun, the 22 Trainer. This is basically a gun that looks and functions just like the standard 9mm model, but it is chambered in 22 rimfire. Glock came out with a G44 that was modeled after the G19. FN offered the 502 Tactical, a plinking copy of the 509. And now Sig Sauer has created the P322, a fun-packed rimfire model that is very reminiscent of the 320. In essence, it is a slightly smaller version with a 20+1 capacity, threaded barrel, and its optics ready. By now, I've tried a few of these plinking marvels, so I knew what to expect. I grabbed a cross-section of 22 ammo and headed to the range to start testing. Out of the box, the P322 is much lighter than its progenitor. Other than that, a few things stood out prominently in my mind. The green fiber optic sights were pretty amazing in the Texas sun. The grip texture was aggressively on point, and the gun fit in my hand marvelously. I noticed an external safety, a rail for a weapon light, a mount for a red dot, and two 20-round magazines. Digging through the box a bit, I noticed there was an adapter for a suppressor, as well as a magazine loading assistance tool. This tool is a nice little sleeve that fits over the magazine and helps you apply downward pressure on the two thumb buttons, which help you compress the spring under the follower. I was able to load 20 rounds without the tool, but the last one was a challenge. Subsequent efforts and general wisdom dictated I use the loading tool, since Sig was kind enough to include it. With the mag loaded, I racked the slide and then marveled at the trigger. It's more forward than I was expecting, and this is because the bow of the trigger is flat, not curved. Overall, the trigger was a great example of what can be accomplished with a striker-fired gun. There was a slight build, then clean break, which averaged around 3 pounds on my Lyman digital gauge. The reset was solid, with a nice audible and tactile click, though it felt comparatively long to reach. This is probably due in part to the flat trigger and its angle. The experience of the trigger as a whole was predictable and repeatable. I learned it quickly and was able to start running the gun comfortably in no time at all. Testing out a theory, I mounted a nightstick weapon light to the plinker and stuck it in a Safariland holster designed for a P320. It locked up and released nicely, so I was off to the races. I ran some drills and also tested accuracy, but was delighted with the whole experience. It's hard to describe how pleasant it is to shoot this gun. There's no recoil, your sights stay on target, the trigger is really good, and the ergonomics are great. The only thing that sucks about this gun is you very quickly find yourself having to reload over and over again. I tested accuracy from 7 yards and was able to put some groups together that were decent. Running the plate rack, I found it pretty easy to adjust aim to hit the top of each plate so I could get them to fall. For reloads, the magazines dropped freely and inserted easily due to the design of the magwell. There's a slight flare on the outside, but the interior has a funnel-like feature which guides the magazines in. The slide locked back on empty every time, with one exception, and I think this was likely due to ammo. You can't discount how much 22 ammo affects the performance of guns like this. For testing, I ran Aguila Super Extra 40 grain, SK Standard Plus 40 grain, Wolf Match Extra 40 grain, and SK Match 40 grain. In all, I think I had 1 stovepipe and 1 failure to lock back during testing across a total in excess of 500 rounds. The P322 comes with a thread adapter to attach a suppressor, a magazine loading tool, a gun lock, and a curved bow for the trigger so you can swap it out should you prefer. There aren't any plates included, but you can mount Sig's Romeo 0 red dot. Okay, so for pros and cons, the pros are going to be it has a 20 round capacity, you've got optics ready and suppressor ready, the trigger is outstanding. Really the only con I can think of is that it runs out of ammo too quickly. One thing that sets the P322 apart from its peers is the 20 round capacity of the magazine. For upgrades and customization, the P322 is optics ready, but at this point, it only accepts Romeo 0 natively. There is some question as to how it would run with an adapter plate and R1 patterned optics considering the added mass. I didn't have a Romeo 0 or adapter plates at the time of testing, but may revisit the issue down the road in an update. For the final verdict, the P322 is a great pistol, and I had a lot of fun shooting the gun. Pinging steel repeatedly at just about any speed you can muster is a great time, and you don't feel like you're putting yourself in the poorhouse while doing it. This is a superb shooter that ran reliably with a variety of different ammo, and it's a good value at around $400. If you'd like a breakdown by category, click the link for the article in the description below. Finally, head over to tristartrading.com and pick up some of this fresh gear. On behalf of the entire Pew Pew Tactical team, I'm Sean. Thank you for watching.